Hey baby. The final trials were held at UCLA. When the scores were tallied, I was ecstatic. I'd made the team, but my performances at the Olympiad didn't live up to my expectations. I returned home and slipped into relative anonymity. My newborn son arrived and I began to feel a growing responsibility and pressure. I found a job selling life insurance, which took up most of my days and nights. I never seemed to have time for my family. Within a year, Susie and I were separated. Eventually she filed for divorce. A fresh start, I reflected sadly. One day I looked in the mirror and realised that 40 years had passed. I was old. Where had my life gone? With the help of my psychiatrist, I'd overcome my drinking problem, and I'd had money, houses and women. But I had no one now. I was lonely. I lay in bed late at night and wondered where my son was. It had been years since I'd seen him. I wondered about Susie and about my friends from the good old days. I passed the days in my favourite rocking chair, sipping wine, watching TV, thinking about old times. I watched children play in front of the house. It'd been a good life, I supposed. I'd gotten everything I'd gone after, so why wasn't I happy? One day, one of the children playing on the lawn came up to the porch, a friendly little boy, smiling. He asked me how old I was. I'm 200 years old, I said. He giggled and said, no you're not, and put his hands on his hips. I laughed too, which touched off one of my coughing spells, and Mary, my pretty, capable young nurse, had to ask him to go. After she'd helped me regain my breath, I gasped, Mary, will you let me be alone for a while? Of course, Mr. Millman. I didn't watch her walk away. That was one of life's pleasures that had died long ago. I sat alone, my whole life it seemed. I lay back on my rocker and breathed my last pleasure. And soon that too would be gone. I cried soundlessly and bitterly. God damn it, I thought. Why did my marriage fail? How could I have done things differently? How could I really have lived? Suddenly I felt a terrible, nagging fear. The worst of my life. Was it possible that I'd missed something really important? Something that would have made a real difference? No, impossible, I assured myself. I cited all my achievements aloud. The fear persisted. I stood up slowly, looked down at the town from the porch of my hilltop house and wondered, where had life gone? What was it for? Was everyone... Oh, my heart, it's my arm, the pain. I tried to call out, but I couldn't breathe. My knuckles grew white as I clutched the railing, trembling. Then my body turned to ice and my heart to stone. I fell to the chair and my head dropped forward. The pain left, and there were lights I'd never seen before and sounds I'd never heard. Visions floated by. Is that you, Susie? Said a distant voice in my mind. Finally all sight and sound became a point of light and then vanished. I found the only peace I'd ever known. I heard a warrior's laugh. I sat up with a shock, the years pouring back into me. I was in my own bed in my apartment in Berkeley, California. I was still in college and my clock showed 6:25. I'd slept through classes and workout. I leapt out of bed and looked in the mirror, touching my still youthful face, shivering with relief. It had all been a dream, a lifetime, in a single dream. Sock's little surprise. I sat in my apartment and stared out the window, troubled. My dream had been exceptionally vivid. In fact, the past had been entirely accurate, even down to details I'd long forgotten. Socrates had told me that these journeys were real. Had this one predicted my future too? I hurried to the station and met Socrates as he arrived. As soon as he stepped inside and the day shift attendant left, I asked, "Alright, Soc, what happened?" You know better than I. It was your life, not mine. Thank God. Socrates, I'm pleading with you. I held my hands out to him. Is that what my life is going to be like? Because if it is, I see no point in living it. He spoke slowly and softly, as he did when he had something he wanted me to pay particular attention to. Just as there are different interpretations of the past, and many ways to change the present, there are any number of possible futures. What you dreamed of was a highly probable future, the one you were headed for, had you not met me. You mean that if I decided to pass by the gas station that night, at Rainbow's End, that dream would have been my future? Very possibly, and it still may be, but you can make choices and changes your present circumstances. You can alter your future. Socrates made us tea, and set my mug down slowly next to me, his movements graceful and deliberate. Soc, I said, I don't know what to make of it. My life these past months has been like an improbable novel, you know what I mean? Sometimes I wish I could go back to a normal life. This secret life here with you, these dreams and journeys, it's been hard on me. Socrates took a deep breath. Something of great importance was coming. Dan, I'm going to increase my demands on you as you become ready. I guarantee that you'll want to leave the life you know and choose alternatives that seem more attractive, more pleasant, more normal. Right now, however, that would be a greater mistake than you can imagine. But I do see the value in what you're showing me. That may be so, but you'll still have an astonishing capacity to fool yourself. That is why you need to dream your life. Remember, it's when you're tempted to run off and pursue your illusions. Don't worry about me, Socrates. I can handle it. If I'd known what was ahead, I would have kept my mouth shut.